What's the biggest distraction you have right now that's slowing down or impeding your progress? I imagine for a lot of us, we have similar responses. We have social media, we have email, we have our phones, messaging from friends, a lot of short-term things. And what I want to dive into today and what I want to talk about is something that's far more detrimental, which is long-term distractions. Something that is much more of an impediment to your success and to your growth than how much you scroll TikTok. My name is Patrick Menefee and I'm a mindset and success coach. And my goal with this channel and with everything that I do in my businesses is to help you live a more intentional, fulfilled, and successful life. Now, these videos come out every single Monday, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see every one that comes out. And if you want more, I have a newsletter that comes out and you can click the link in the description to subscribe to that. Now, you can't have distractions without talking about focus. And so I want to differentiate real quick between short and long-term focus. Short-term focus is a lot of what we do on a daily basis. It's really basically productivity. Can I put my head down? Can I get the things done that I need to do this week and today in order to move myself forward? Long-term focus, though, is what am I working towards? What is my vision? What are my long-term goals? What is the mission of the work that I'm trying to accomplish and the mark that I'm trying to leave in the world? Ultimately, short-term focus is focused on doing things and making sure that they get done. Long-term focus is focused on making sure you're doing the right things and that they're taking you in the right direction. I want to give you an example of this and how it relates to distractions. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm a mindset and success coach. My entire job is to create massive transformation in the lives of my clients. And it's incredible. I love what I do. It's why it's so fascinating. And so a year ago, I was having one of those calls with one of my clients. We were diving into some of the things that had been blocking her along the way. She had this sense of imposter syndrome. She had this sense that she wasn't capable of taking herself to the level that she wanted to get to. She didn't feel like she was good enough. She had all of these different components of her identity that were conflicting and at odds, and she didn't believe in who she was and where she was going. So after some exercises, I finally pulled out this list of how other people saw her. And this list included things like incredibly intelligent, the most generous, kind, and giving person that they'd ever met, driven, capable, all of these things that were very positive marks on her. All of these things that she also didn't believe in herself. And so as this conversation went on, eventually I laid out this list for her. I looked at her and I said, everybody else sees it. Why don't you trust what everybody else sees? Why don't you trust yourself? And if you've ever been in a coaching relationship, whether you're the coach or whether you're the client, there's that light bulb moment that clicks. And in this moment, I saw the screen go black. She turned her screen off. I heard the sniffle of tears, which again, if you've been in any type of coaching relationship like that, as hard as that is, it also means that's a big breakthrough. And when she turned the camera back on, we started having more of a conversation about it. Everything started to change. Her entire focus, her entire demeanor, her entire ability to process who she was started to shift. And it was incredible. It was a life-changing moment. And as a client, that's exactly what you pay for. As a coach, that's what I live for. That's the whole reason that I do it. The problem was a couple hours later, I get a phone call, an urgent phone call from a customer. I don't remember exactly. I think from an employee talking about an urgent problem with a customer. Someone's bushes weren't cut properly and they were irate, like absolutely irate, truly angry about bushes. And so for me, I went from this conversation with someone to change her life, creating this massive transformation, to dealing with anger over an inanimate object that wasn't cut properly. It blew my mind and it was infuriating. But I very quickly realized how much of a distraction that was. Now, initially, that's not something like a social media, but that is a short-term day-to-day distraction, a customer. Well, you can offload that. My initial thought was, I'll just delegate this. I will step out of any customer-facing communication. I'll hand that off to someone on my team and I'll let him handle that. The problem was that then just elevated the level of problem that I dealt with. The problems still were there. And I started to realize where my long-term focus was. My long-term focus is all about making massive change and transformation in people's lives. I want to do that on a scale that impacts hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And the work that I was doing in this lawn care company, no matter how effective and efficient it was an impediment to what I was trying to do and an impediment to my long-term focus, which meant it was a long-term distraction. The distraction wasn't the customer. It wasn't social media. It wasn't a day-to-day activity. The distraction was the whole business. And I had to get rid of the entire business in order to clear out the distraction and help me move forward in the thing that I was supposed to be doing. It's also the same reason that I sold my rental properties and I redeployed the equity elsewhere. My short-term focus was being diverted. My long-term focus was being diverted by activities that weren't serving me properly. So this has changed my mindset considerably and given me a pretty clear path forward that I want to share with you because you can implement this as well. First part is focusing on the long-term, focus on the vision and clarify what that means. This is why I do this with almost every single one of my clients and it's a major focal point. We dive in together and we figure out what is the vision for your life? Where are you trying to go? What is the purpose for everything that you do? What do you want out of your life? Now, if that's something that you want help with and that sounds intriguing to you and you you need to figure that out, click the link in the description. You can dive in, learn a little bit about what my coaching is all about. And if you want to have a conversation, I'm happy to. But that is the starting point. And then once I know what I'm working towards, it's time to do a bit of a self-assessment. What are the activities that I'm doing right now? Are they getting me closer to my long-term vision, or are they pulling me away? What things am I doing that maybe I need to cut out, and I need to, maybe in some cases I can delegate them, but in other cases I need to just get rid of them altogether, like the business. And then the third thing is it provides a very clear lens through which I can evaluate other opportunities. I can look at them and say, is this going to get me closer? Is it going to get me further away? Are there pieces of this that I can apply? Same thing as whether or not I eliminate. Apply that to every single decision that I start to make on new opportunities, new ventures. And ultimately, this leads to the output that I described at the beginning of the video, a more intentional, fulfilled, and successful life. So my encouragement to you is to spend some time processing some of these things. Think about your distractions, not the social media distractions, but the bigger ones. Think about what some of those might be. And I encourage you, drop a comment and let me know what some of those distractions were. Let me know what comes up. If you want to dive deeper into this, like I said, check out the website, check out the link. I'm happy to dive into any of these things one-on-one. You can also sign up for the newsletter. You'll get more of this stuff on a weekly basis, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so that I can see you next week in next week's video.